thought it was just a vacation. Sun, beaches, and laughter with the man she loved. But within days, paradise turned into a nightmare. Hours after smiling for photos on the sand, she was gone. He told police she went for a walk and never came back. But the cameras, the witnesses, and the evidence all said otherwise. His story unraveled, and the truth that emerged was darker than anyone could imagine. This is the case of a young woman whose life ended thousands of miles from home. A trip that should have been filled with love and escape instead exposed the danger she had been living with all along. And the man who promised to protect her became the very reason she never made it back. Her name was Laura Bennett. She was 28 years old. She worked in marketing. She was close to her family, adored by her friends, and known for her big laugh that filled every room she walked into. She loved photography. She loved travel. And when she agreed to take a vacation to Mexico with her boyfriend, she had no idea it would be the last trip of her life. Laura grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Born on March 12, 1994, she was the middle child in a family of 5. Her parents, Martha and Paul Bennett, described her as a child who was always in motion. She danced. She played soccer. She carried around a camera everywhere, even as a teenager, snapping candid shots of friends at the park, of her siblings blowing out birthday candles, of sunsets she insisted looked different every evening. Her younger sister Rachel once said, "Laura had this gift for making normal moments feel big." She could turn a walk down the street into an adventure. At Ohio State University, Laura majored in marketing but minored in photography. Her professors remembered her as driven, charismatic, and endlessly curious. She was the kind of student who stayed late after class, not because she was struggling, but because she always had more questions. By her late 20s, Laura was excelling at a digital marketing agency. She was well-liked at work, known for her collaborative spirit. Co-workers said she was the person who always remembered birthdays, always brought coffee for late-night deadlines, and always stayed positive. But her friends noticed something change when she met Ethan Myers. Laura met Ethan in 2019 through mutual friends at a music festival in Chicago. Ethan was tall, dark-haired, and charming. At first glance, he seemed like the life of the party. He worked in finance, claimed to have big plans, and carried himself with a confidence that pulled people in. Laura was drawn to him. He showered her with attention. He told her she was different, that she lit up every room. Their romance moved quickly. Within a few months, Ethan was spending weekends in Columbus, and by the following year, he had convinced Laura to move in with him in a downtown apartment. To the outside world, they looked like a happy couple. Instagram photos showed them smiling at restaurants, hiking trails, celebrating birthdays. But behind the curated posts, there were cracks forming. Friends say Ethan was controlling. He wanted to know where Laura was at all times. He didn't like her going out without him. He often criticized her clothing choices, telling her skirts were too short or that her makeup made her look cheap. Rachel recalled one moment that stuck with her. We were getting ready for a night out, and Laura put on this red dress she loved. Ethan took one look at her and said, "You're not wearing that." She laughed it off, but I saw the way her face fell. Ethan also had a temper. Arguments would spiral. Neighbors sometimes overheard shouting through the apartment walls. Still, Laura often defended him. She told friends he was just stressed from work or that he didn't mean it. By 2021, those closest to her grew increasingly concerned. But Laura was hopeful. She believed Ethan could change, and when he suggested they take a vacation to rekindle their relationship, she agreed. In July 2022, Laura and Ethan booked a trip to Cancun, Mexico. They checked into a luxury resort on July 14th, a Thursday. The first few days seemed ordinary enough. Guests at the resort later told police they saw the couple lounging by the pool, dining at the resort restaurant, and occasionally bickering in hushed tones. On July 17th, Ethan posted a photo on Instagram. It showed him and Laura at the beach, smiling, drinks in hand. The caption read, "Paradise with my love." But hours later, everything would change. According to Ethan's account, he and Laura had dinner at a local seafood restaurant around 8 p.m. He claimed they returned to the hotel around 10, where Laura decided to go for a walk alone on the beach. He said he went back to the room to rest, and when she didn't return after an hour, he alerted hotel staff. But investigators quickly realized his story didn't add up. Security footage from the hotel showed Ethan and Laura walking back from dinner together. Laura did not appear to leave the hotel again that night. In fact, the cameras showed no sign of her after they entered their room. At 2:30 a.m., guests in the neighboring suite reported hearing loud thuds, muffled screaming, and a man's voice raised in anger. One guest later told police, "It sounded like a fight. It was violent. Then it went quiet." The next morning, Laura was missing. On July 18th, around 7:45 a.m., hotel staff found Laura's body near a maintenance shed at the edge of the resort property. She was partially concealed beneath palm leaves and sand. The scene was grim. Investigators determined she had been strangled. There were defensive wounds on her arms, suggesting she had fought desperately for her life. The discovery shocked fellow vacationers. A place of leisure and escape had become a crime scene. Guests were evacuated from nearby rooms. Police sealed off the area. The resort released a statement expressing deep sorrow and pledging cooperation with authorities. But suspicion immediately fell on Ethan. Mexican authorities moved quickly. Detectives noted inconsistencies in Ethan's story. He claimed he was asleep during the time of Laura's disappearance. Yet security footage showed him leaving the room multiple times that night, carrying what looked like a large bag. Forensic tests revealed Laura's DNA beneath his fingernails. Traces of sand and palm leaves, the same kind used to cover her body, were found on his clothing. When questioned, Ethan grew defensive. He insisted he loved Laura and had nothing to do with her death. But investigators learned this was not the first time Ethan had been linked to violence. Back in the United States, reporters uncovered disturbing details. Ethan had a history of domestic violence. In 2016, an ex-girlfriend filed a restraining order against him, citing threats and physical assaults. Court documents revealed he once told her, "If I can't have you, no one will." Another former partner described him as charming at first, then controlling, then dangerous. These revelations painted a chilling picture. Ethan's behavior with Laura fit a familiar pattern: love bombing, control, escalation, and ultimately, violence. Ethan was extradited to the United States in January 2023 to face trial. The courtroom was packed. Prosecutors presented the timeline, the surveillance footage, the forensic evidence, and testimony from hotel guests who heard the fight. The defense argued there was no conclusive evidence tying Ethan to Laura's death. They suggested she may have been attacked by someone else at the resort. But the jury was unconvinced. On August 9th, 2023, Ethan Myers was found guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Laura's family wept in the courtroom. Her mother, Martha, gave a victim impact statement. Laura was our light. She deserved to live, to chase her dreams, to have the family she wanted. Ethan stole all of that. We hope he never sees freedom again. In the months following the trial, Laura's family launched the Laura Bennett Foundation, dedicated to raising awareness about domestic violence, especially in relationships where warning signs may be dismissed as normal conflict. They speak at schools, workplaces, and conferences. They urge others to trust their instincts, to recognize the red flags, and to leave unsafe situations before it's too late. Every year, on Laura's birthday, family and friends gather in Columbus. They release lanterns into the night sky. They tell stories of her laughter, her adventures, her love for photography. They refuse to let her be remembered only as a victim. Laura's story reminds us that behind every headline is a person, a daughter, a sister, a friend. Her life was full of love, potential, and promise. And while her story ends in tragedy, her legacy continues through the voices of those who loved her. Vacations are supposed to bring joy. But for Laura, the trip she thought would strengthen her relationship revealed the darkest truth of all. And the man who claimed to love her showed the world who he really was. His story didn't add up. Hers deserves to be told. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic abuse, please reach out to local hotlines or support services. Help is available. And to our viewers, what are your thoughts on this case? Did the warning signs seem clear in hindsight? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories where we uncover the evidence, honor the victims, and demand justice.